The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe it.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
United, we can and will overcome. People come together.
Midas Touch is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Oh my God. Almost there, everybody. Almost there. Oh, happy Friday, you bastards. Happy freaking Friday. Yes. I was going to play Bounce Your Boobies if Biden had been declared the winner, but he's not been declared the winner. I mean, there are certain organizations, decision desks around that are saying it's he won PA and this is done because you know PA's 20 electoral votes and that would put him over the top. I'm not with that. I'm not down with that. There's time. I want you to stay calm. I want you to be optimistic. I want you to understand the president of the United States is a wounded freaking animal right now. He's very, very freaking dangerous. Okay. He gave a speech last night for the ages, for the dark ages. It was creepy. It is typical. It was bizarre. The entire media universe, including, except for, Sean Hannity on Fox News and his sons, the ne'er-do-well sons who have done nothing in their lives except make fools of themselves on behalf of their daddy, looking for some sort of approval. They're screaming about fraud and this and that, and they're lying. But really, the whole entire country that is being honest with themselves and the entire organization of newspapers, cable news, primetime news, network news, the entire universe of journalists, writers have all recoiled in horror about that speech that the president gave last night. If you're going to stand there and you're going to scream about fraud and ballot fixing and rigging and at least bring some evidence. Bring a piece of tape. Bring a spoiled ballot. Bring something to the state of play. But to deliver a speech like that, completely empty and devoid of evidence or proof or anything that trashes literally every American who bothered to vote, you need to be wearing like a horned helmet and animal fur and carry a staff with a human skull upon it. And I'm talking post-Halloween. But, the base would just love him more. They would just love him more if he did that. But it was pure evil. I mean, people are on social media saying how they feel so bad that the White House has been sullied by the likes of him. And, are we going to have to fumigate it? And what's going to happen? And, some people go, hey, sage it. Get some sage and cleanse. Like that there stuff. The little Wiccan trick to cleansing your space. I got one. But that won't. We're at exorcism level here. The evil, the nature of this president is pure evil, pure evil. He brought no evidence. He brought nothing to the table last night except for accusations. And I just have a feeling that look, this was the first time in the history of the Trump presidency that he didn't talk about 2016. This is the first time that he talked about 2020 instead of 2016. So expect the next 4 years to be just like the last 4 years, except substitute 2016's victory with 2020's loss. And he will talk about it even more compulsively than he did the last time. See, this is just a taste of what's to come. We're going to have the Long Wine Across America tour. The Donald Trump 2024 campaign, the COVID. I mean, it was a short speech, and yet it took me hours to debunk it. Hours, because you have to actually get information from each of the places he accused of various, wrongdoing. There is no evidence at all about any of it. So, I mean, listen, the networks did cut away from the president last night. The president of the United States of America. The president of the United States of America. They had to cut away from him because he was spreading false and incendiary lies and conspiracy theories. So you know what? We need parental guidance. We need warnings now on every time Donald Trump is on the television, because we're going to have a lame duck, okay? We're going to have a presidency that is literally a lame duck for, almost 3 months now. And we need some sort of parental guidelines, like a warning is like they should put up, they have the V for violence. They should put up, AD for anti-democratic speech, or AS for authoritarian situations. Do you know what I'm saying? Holy crap, this was just an awesome meltdown on national TV. I mean,
United we can and will over.
Oh, I want to hear that again.
If you count the legal votes, I easily win.
What?
If you count the illegal votes, they can try to steal the election from us. If you count the votes that came in late, we're looking at them very strongly, but a lot of votes came in late. I've already decisively won many critical states, including massive victories in Florida, Iowa, Indiana, Ohio. To name just a few, we won these and many other victories despite historic election interference from big media, big money, and big tech.
Our intelligence community has been working with big tech. He says this as if he's not in power. He blames people, and he is still, right now, the president of the United States of America. I mean, it's so weird the way he blamed, as if he wasn't serving big money this whole presidency where, the tax cut went. Big tech, the intelligence community is working with Twitter. And let me show you something. This is from yesterday. I didn't even get to show it to you, but this is amazing. Brett, you're going to freak out. This is Trump's Twitter feed, okay? And it's just going to scroll on by. And the reason why I'm showing you this, wait, I started it before you put it up. Here, the reason why I'm showing you this is because all of these tweets have been flagged as being false. And this is the president of the United States of America, and so he's blaming big tech, which our intelligence community is working with. They're working with Facebook, they're working with Twitter, they're working with Instagram, they're working with all kinds of Signal and WhatsApp and all of these, all of them, because they're on the fence monitoring for, violence in this country. Now, they assure us that we've had absolutely no foreign interference in this election, as far as hacking into registrations or flipping votes or any of those things. They say, we did okay. We really did do, pretty well. But now the president is the person that they have to guard against because he is manufacturing violent conspiracy theories. Can you believe that? This is so unfreaking believable. It's inexcusable, and it's because he's a wounded animal. I mean, now he's talking about mystery ballots and secret things. And
I challenge Joe and every Democrat to clarify that they only want legal votes, because they talk about votes, and I think they should use the word legal votes. We want every legal vote counted, and I want every legal vote counted. We want openness and transparency, no secret count rooms, no mystery ballots, no illegal votes.
There are cameras in every single counting room. There are webcams all over the place. The media is in the counting rooms. You can watch it on the TV. I can give you the exact number of Republican observers that are in Pennsylvania, in Georgia. This is what I'm saying. I had to fact check it. There are hundreds of legal observers of the GOP style and Democratic poll watchers and independent poll watchers, hundreds of them in Pennsylvania, in Georgia, in Nevada, in Arizona. Why? I'm telling you, this is sick.
All things Randi at RandiRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
I challenge Joe and every Democrat to clarify that they only want legal votes, because they talk about votes, and I think they should use the word legal votes. We want every legal vote counted, and I want every legal vote counted. We want openness and transparency, no secret count rooms, no mystery ballots, no illegal votes being cast after Election Day. You have Election Day, and the laws are very strong on that. You have an Election Day, and they don't want votes cast after Election Day, and they want the process to be an honest one. It's so important. We want an honest election, and we want an honest count, and we want honest people working back there, because it's a very important job. So that's the way this country is going to win. That's the way the United States will win, and we think we will win the election very easily. We think there's going to be a lot of litigation because we have so much evidence, so much proof, and it's going to end up perhaps at the highest court in the land. We'll see. But we think there'll be a lot of litigation because we can't have an election stolen like this.
No election is being stolen. People are counting ballots. They are working really hard, except in Nevada. I don't know what Nevada's deal is. Okay, honestly, I really don't. But they're working really hard in Pennsylvania. They're working really hard in Georgia. They're working really hard in Arizona. The ballots are being counted. The ballots are not certified yet, okay? Because before the ballots are certified, there's a process. It's called canvassing. They will go over all of this, okay? All these states will go, all of them will go over all of the ballots cast in their states, all 50 states, and there will be a canvass. After the canvass, there will then be a certification of the totals. And those are not due for, 10 days. Some states November 14th, some states November 16th, some states November 18th, et cetera, right? So there is a process in play, and the president knows it doesn't look good for him. And so he's saying, we don't want ballots cast after Election Day. I got news for you. There are some states where if they're postmarked by Election Day, they count. And that includes military ballots. And there are tens of thousands of them. Tens of thousands of them. So what is he saying? He doesn't want the military ballots to count? I don't even know what he's saying, okay? This is really weird. But the press corps last night, who were sitting there, they were beside themselves listening to him lie like that. And I'll tell you, he lies all the time, but this was the most dangerous lie. Okay, this was really uniquely vomitacious. I don't know what to say. It was gag-inducing. It was dangerous. It was violent. It was a threat. It was unpresidential, non-presidential. It was beneath the belly of a snake to do that last night. Okay, and so the White House press corps, he makes all these statements, all of these accusations, doesn't have a shred of evidence, not a shred, and then walks off without taking any questions from the press corps who he assembled there to witness this un-American display of animal, wounded power. Do you know what I mean? Like just so sick and sad. And they wanted to ask him questions.
Why are you lying to the American people about that? Why are you so delusional?
Why do you lie to the American people like that? Why are you so delusional? And then you could hear a female reporter in the background going, why are you undercutting the process? Why are you undercutting America? Why are you? And I want you to know what happened today. Vladimir Putin, okay, on Russian state TV, is running Donald Trump's speech, broadcasting it around the world and even back into America to show that democracy doesn't work. This is exactly why Vladimir Putin interferes in things American, because he wants America to fall apart. He wants one American set upon the other. He wants democracy to fail. And that has been his goal all along. And that's why he backed the most divisive candidate that he could find in 2016 and, literally helped Donald Trump get, WikiLeaks to disseminate emails that said absolutely nothing terrible in them, but to create a suspicion, okay? But honestly, they're broadcasting this speech from last night all over Russian state TV. It is the sickest thing in the world. I've never seen anything like this. Like I said, this was a speech for the ages, and it's the dark ages. And then, of course, the Republicans stay very silent, okay? The only thing they'll say, like Pat Toomey from Pennsylvania, he was asked, so you're the senator from Pennsylvania. Have you seen any fraud? No, I'm not. I haven't seen any fraud. I'm not aware of any fraud. Mitch McConnell and all of those Republicans, they're all like, every legal vote should count. Well, duh. What about what the president is doing? Oh, no, we don't have a comment. We have nothing to say. We just, we'll just be quiet about it. We'll just be over here. I mean, and like all the networks were just stunned and shocked. I mean, it was just, I don't know. I can't even, like, Anderson Cooper was hysterical, okay?
That is the president of the United States. That is the most powerful person in the world. And we see him like an obese turtle on his back, flailing in the hot sun, realizing his time is over. But he just hasn't accepted it, and he wants to take everybody down with him, including this country.
He's like an obese turtle laying on his back in the sun. That is a extremely detailed picture for your brain. That was just unbelievable. And Brian Williams, he was like, no, I'm just no.
Decisively won many critical states, including massive victories in Florida, Iowa, Indiana, Ohio.
Okay, here we are again in the unusual position of not only interrupting the President of the United States, but correcting the President of the United States. And Ari Melber, don't go far. Given that you are our chief legal correspondent, there are no illegal votes that we know of. There has been no Trump victory that we know of.
That's right. Brian, we just heard the president come out pretty remarkable. As you said, he said, quote, according to the legal votes, he believes he wins. That's false. The legal votes, if you want to use that term, or the votes that have been lawfully apportioned, meaning what we've been following in each of these states, do not show that. They actually show what we found, which is some states going in both directions, no one to 270.
Here's Major Garrett. I mean, it really did stun people in the press. I mean,
we're hearing that the president doesn't plan to concede if Joe Biden comes out on top. How would that work?
Look, the president's trying to tell the country he's unhappy, but the Constitution has a remedy. If you are not the electoral vote winner on January 20th of the following year, you're no longer the president. You're a trespasser. That's it.
Yeah. What did I tell you? The General Services Administration agency, they're the ones that actually get involved in the transition. They will just turn off his keys. I don't know if it's a key card or an actual key or what it is, or if it's a passcode on a keyboard. I have no idea. But they will literally, just like you, when you are fired and they change the code key that you have, or they change the code on the door, or they take away your parking spots. That is what will happen. He will be a trespasser. Period.
Call in, connect. To speak to Randi, call 561-270-3844. 561-270-3844.
What a sad night for the United States of America to hear their president say that, to falsely accuse people of trying to steal the election, to try to attack democracy that way with this feast of falsehoods. Lie after lie after lie about the election being stolen. No evidence for what he's saying. Just smears about the integrity of vote counting in state after state. When he wins a state, it's legitimate. When he loses, it's because the vote is being stolen from him. Right. It's not true. It's ugly. It's frankly pathetic. The president, for example, he assailed vote by mail. Why, he asked, why are the vote by mail ballots so overwhelmingly in favor of Joe Biden? We all know the answer. It's because the president told his supporters not to vote by mail. So Democrats did it overwhelmingly, and his supporters turned out in droves on Election Day. Look, President Trump has always been transparent about the smears and lies and strategies of falsehoods. We knew he was going to do this. We knew he was going to claim votes by mail were not real. But he's wrong. It's a lie. He's lying about the election. He's smearing the American people. He's smearing people who are working at polls, and it's a disgrace. We knew that the president was not going to lose graciously if he lost. But frankly, watching him flail like this is just pathetic.
It's pathetic, and it's uncomfortable, and it's dangerous. Even Chris Christie, this morning he said there is no evidence of fraud, and if they have any evidence of fraud, they ought to, bring it forward and show the American people, because they are misinforming the American people.
Chris Christie, it should not have to be said, counting absentee ballots is not illegal, it is not fraud, it is not corruption.
George, let's say I've been fortunate enough to be on the ballot a number of times myself. I've won, I've lost. And so as a candidate, you're even more invested in the integrity of the system. Right? So if this stuff is going on that the president's talking about, all of us want it ferreted out, because it would undercut everything that we believe in our system. But as a prosecutor, that's like asking me to indict someone without showing me any evidence. If you're going to say those things from behind the podium at the White House, it's his right to do it. It's his right to pursue legal action. But show us the evidence. We heard nothing today about any evidence. I want to know what backs up what he said so that I can analyze it. And let me tell you, if he's right, I'll be outraged, and I'm sure you would be too.
And if he's wrong?
And if he's wrong, then the American people are going to be able to make the judgment about this election that the results have been fair. And this kind of thing, all it does is inflame without informing.
That's exactly the point. It inflames without informing. And I want to show you what's going on the right-wing lunatic fringe, okay? You got these, these people who are loyal to other countries. Sebastian Gorka is one of those, okay? He's like a Hungarian communist who pretends he wraps himself in the American flag. He's sort of an infiltrator. He's sort of I don't know. But he was talking to a caller who was saying, how do we convince the other side that it was stolen? He's like, we don't have to convince the other side. All we need is evidence, but we don't have any.
We're not here to convince those who think a senile old man who is in bed with communist China that he should be the president. Forget that. I mean, think about it. More than 60 million Americans voted for one of the most corrupt politicians in American history, whose son is doing deals with communist China. We just need the evidence.
We just need the evidence. Now, there was a bipartisan Senate committee that actually looked at this issue and found absolutely no wrongdoing at all, period. There was an entire impeachment. Nothing happened there with regard to the Bidens, blah, blah, blah. But Ivanka did get, an enormous amount of Chinese copyrights while her father was president, and she was a senior advisor to the president of the United States. Just saying. And of course they have no evidence, because none of this untoward behavior actually occurred. This is a bubble they live in, a fantastical bubble where Joe Biden is the most corrupt politician. Joe Biden is. Joe Biden. Joe Biden, who wrote a book and made $4 million on a speaking tour as a former vice president and as somebody who authored a book called Promise Me Dad. That's the small pittance he has. Mitch McConnell, on the other hand, is a billionaire. Kelly Loeffler, on the other hand, is a billionaire. You've got, what's-his-face over there in Georgia, David Perdue, insider trading. These are crooks. These are real crooks, okay? But Joe Biden is the most corrupt senator. He is the most corrupt politician. He is this, he is that. All we need is the evidence. That's all we need. We just need the evidence. You don't get to smear every American. 72 million people have voted for Joe Biden. 72 million people have voted for Joe Biden. It's just, wow. I swear to God, the stuff that goes on those networks is just, it's dangerous. It really is dangerous. Here's the senator from Pennsylvania, Republican Pat Toomey.
I am not aware of any significant fraud, any significant wrongdoing. If it's happened, then the evidence needs to come out. We need to go to court. We need to punish the wrongdoers. We need to redress whatever went wrong. But I'm not aware of any such evidence.
Okay, because there isn't any. There is no evidence. And yet the president's surrogates, who are his children, that's sick. I mean, it's nepotism in real time, but nobody that's for Donald Trump will call it that. It's just amazing. So Ivanka gets copyrights from China for all kinds of things, including coffins, okay? She gets copyrights from China while she has the title of Senior Advisor to the President of the United States. The President of the United States uses our Rose Garden as a campaign platform, which is illegal under the Hatch Act, right? You got all this law breaking happening in real time on the TV that you can see. But somewhere, somehow, there's going to be some evidence someday about something that Joe Biden did that is corrupt. It's unbelievable. And meanwhile, his kids are on TV, unhinged, and I swear this guy, he's coked out of his mind. I mean, just watch this.
I think the Democrats are used to this from a Republican Party that hasn't had a backbone. You're not going to see that this time around. That party is gone, and anyone that doesn't fight like that should go with it.
I don't get it. I don't get why this isn't offensive. I mean, can you imagine if Hunter Biden was out there doing this? Can you just imagine? I mean, really. These are people who have been found to have committed fraud in their own personal charity. Their own personal family charity, the Trump Foundation. So much fraud that they are prohibited from ever being on the board or holding any position of honor in any charity of any charity ever. But Joe Biden is the most corrupt. And all we need is the evidence. That's all we need, everybody. We just need the evidence. And the president is literally in a frenzy. The White House, they're running around with their hair on fire as they realize that they're moving. They are literally exiting. Stage left. They are going. They have been voted out. They have been given a thumbs down. Caesar, the people have spoken, and they've given Caesar the thumbs down. This is practically over. I wish I could say it was over. Maybe tonight. Biden has a press a thing tonight.
This is the Randi Rhodes Show. To speak with Randi, dial 561-270-3844. That's 561-270-3844.
All right, here are some numbers from Georgia.
Let's just start with the margin. Right now, we're looking at 2,448,796 votes for President Trump and 2,450,381 votes for Vice President Biden. And that gives us a margin of 1,585. That's where we stand right now as of 3:08 p.m. on, it's Friday now. We do know that today is the day for the UACAVA deadline for those military and overseas ballots that would have been postmarked by Tuesday, Election Day, to be accepted and counted in the state. We do have some updated numbers on that. Let's see. On the overall side, we have 18,008 of those ballots have been accepted, and it leaves 8,410 that are still available to be received.
Okay, so we have military ballots out, all right? We have 18,008 military ballots that have been received and 8,410 military ballots that are still acceptable, because you can accept ballots after Election Day in Georgia if they're military ballots. So that's a lot of ballots that are still out. Right now, Donald Trump seems to have a lead in Georgia of 1,585 votes. 26,418 military ballots to count. It's a horse race, everybody. It is really, really, really tight, because this country has been split right down the ass crack. It has been divided in such a manner that it is almost a wet dream for every communist country out there to point to democracy and say, see, it doesn't work. It just creates one person set upon the other. They fight. Nobody can get anything done. This is terrible. This is bad. This is ugly. Let's just continue with our communist one-party rule thing, says China to their people, says Iran to their people, says Russia to their people. This man, he's been a gift for oligarchs and autocrats around the world. He really, truly has. It's unbelievable. Well, we know that Biden is scheduled to speak tonight in prime time. I'm not sure what this is about. I don't know if it's just to reassure us that things are going along, or if it's to close out, or if it's to concede, or if it's to declare victory. We don't know, okay? I will tell you that Nevada said that before 4 o'clock Eastern time, which is just 10 minutes from now, that they will have new numbers. They have 30,000. I don't know why Nevada is. They're like a sloth. Except sloths are cute. They're adorbs. But Nevada, I don't even understand what's going on in a state where no freaking people live. They say they have 30,403 ballots to count. Okay? 60,000 provisional ballots to count. And this guy from Nevada, he's very sore. He's very surly. He's just, he reminds me of, a really bad substitute teacher is just annoyed that she had to get up after a night of partying. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, he says he's got 60,000 provisional ballots, and he hasn't begun to count those because he wants instructions from the Secretary of State before he even begins to touch the provisionals. I don't know. Some sort of, how are we verifying signatures, or what are we doing about this? Can people cure any mistakes they made? He put out a phone number, okay? If you're in Nevada and your ballot needs to be cured, meaning you left off your signature, or you folded, spindled, creased, mutilated, stapled, something, right? There's a phone number, 702-455-6552. Now, I'll give it one more time. He refused. He gave it once. Thank God I caught it as he was rambling on. 702-455-6552. It's called the cure line, okay? It means if something's wrong with your ballot and it ended up in the provisional pile, the 60,000 pile, maybe you need to do something. But he says that we'll get 2 reports. They will be arriving sometime today. He only got 241 mail-in ballots today. And I don't know. He still can't figure out what he's doing. I will tell you that in Nevada, Biden is up by 20,137 votes. That's the last number I got from them. Like I said, Georgia, Donald Trump has taken the lead again by 1,585 votes. They got a lot of stuff to do. They think they'll be done maybe today, maybe tomorrow.
We're seeing uploads every 20, 30 minutes as the counties go through the final stages of trying to get everything done today with the UACAVA, the absentee cures, and the provisionals being verified. So you're going to see lots of uploads. And what we've noticed is it goes up 3 on the margin, goes up 3, goes down 2, goes up 7. I mean, so nothing is moving the needle a lot on these things. So we're still hanging around that 1,500 number right now.
Right.
But the larger chunk of provisionals could potentially move it some. The UACAVA could potentially move it some. The duplications of damaged ballots could move it some. And again, it depends on where they're coming from. And we're still trying to get everything closed out today. It could slide to tomorrow. And again, when you have my entire high school, I think, was about 2,000 people, and we have less than that involved in the margin here. So every one of these votes is important. And the job of the elections officials in this office is to assure that every single legal vote is counted and that the will of the voters of the state of Georgia is met on this very, very important election.
Okay, so that's where we are in Georgia. Trump is up by 1,585 votes. Again, there are 18,008 received military ballots that are yet to be counted and 8,410 military ballots not yet received. In Pennsylvania, Joe Biden is ahead by 13,662 votes. In Nevada, I told you 20,137 votes is Biden's lead. Arizona, they're still counting. Biden is still ahead, but his lead is getting slightly smaller. Okay, when I sat down here, I had a number that was like noon today. I had a number of 43,000 some odd votes. We're down to 39,769 votes for Biden ahead of Donald Trump. Okay, so those are the numbers I have. I'm just, this is my my technological edge. It's called a piece of paper and a pen. So that's what It's very tight, but you have to remember, I hope everybody remembers, that this is a repeat of 2016, but just for the Democrats, which is what's peeving the Republicans. Remember, Donald Trump won states like Wisconsin by 0.1%. He won states like Pennsylvania by 0.7%, right? I mean, these were really, 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 really tight swing states in 2016, and they still are tight swing states in 2020. And you got decent people who are, I mean, they are jobbing at, I don't even, whatever they're on, I want. I'd really, and Steve Kornacki, did he get into the president's Adderall stash? I mean, these guys, they're up for 24, 48 hours in a row. I've never seen such stamina in my whole life. It's just amazing. But here, I want to tell you something about the Senate real quick before we go to the top of the hour. Then we'll come back and I want to talk to you, make sure everybody's cool, everybody understands what's going on. Any questions you have, we can, pretty much answer them, I think, except for the unknown unknowns. There are known unknowns, there are unknown unknowns, and there are known knowns. So the only thing I can't answer is the unknown unknowns, okay? Like time-wise, things like that. But the Senate is in play. You understand that, right? Because not only is the Kelly Loeffler Warnock, or Raphael Warnock, the Right Reverend Raphael Warnock, Reverend of the Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, the Democrat who is running for the Senate seat that Kelly Loeffler, the special appointed Kelly Loeffler, is occupying. Not only are they having a runoff, but now it looks like David Perdue, the crook, is down below 50%. And so there will be a runoff between, if it stays this way, there will be another Senate runoff between Senator David Perdue and the fabulous Jewish Jon Ossoff. And we know he's Jewish because David Perdue decided to put a photo of Jon Ossoff on his, Twitter account and, social media accounts, elongating Jon Ossoff's nose, which is one of the oldest anti-Semitic memes, even before we knew what a meme was, okay? In the world. It is so vile and so disgusting, but that is David Perdue. That is who he is. He's vile and disgusting and a criminal. Insider trading, So that's 2 Senate seats. The Senate right now, 48 Dems, or 47 Dems, 48 Republicans. You get 2 more plus Kamala Harris if she's the vice president as a tiebreaker. Hello, promised land.
Mary had a little ram. The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
When we talk about a peaceful transfer of power, a concession is not required, but it is the right thing to do. It is the thing that causes a peaceful transfer of power to happen.
And just to underline what we're talking about, this is not just a matter of good manners. This is not just a matter of grace. This is a matter of life and death. There have been arrests made. Somebody was arrested driving up to the Philadelphia Convention Center because of the nonsense, I assume, repeated by Republicans on Fox. And we should actually I don't normally talk about any competing network, but the Murdochs and the people at Fox have an obligation to put their country above their profits. It is very important that people make it very clear that this election, there is no credible evidence that we have seen of widespread fraud. By all accounts, Joe Biden is on the precipice of becoming the next president, fair and square, and people who have the privilege of sitting in seats like we're sitting in right now have the obligation to convey that to their viewers so that there is a peaceful transfer of power and so that there isn't violence.
So that's probably not going to happen because I just played you a whole bunch of right-wing lunacy, and the president is piling on, and the opinion. Laura Ingraham was tweeting this morning that ballots were mysteriously showing up, and I asked her, if mail delivery mystifies you, how does math affect you? No, they're not going to cooperate. They're not.
2 memos obtained by CNN from 3 different sources all around Fox News say that when Joe Biden reaches that point where he crosses the threshold of 270, Fox will not identify him as the president-elect.
Oh, my God.
Jake, other newsrooms are working through this right now, all preparing for this possibility. And president-elect is the common language that would be used in any situation like this. However, these memos at Fox News say they will stay away from that description. These memos direct Fox stars, anchors, pundits, talk show hosts to avoid language like president-elect because of the president's legal challenges. Of course, these are long-shot legal challenges. You've been talking about this on the air. But Fox is taking these challenges very seriously, showing shocking deference to the president. After 25,000 false and misleading claims from this president, Fox still assumes he's telling the truth. They're promoting voter fraud innuendo. They are denigrating cities like Philadelphia. And they're treating these long-shot lawsuits, these toothless suits, like they are serious pursuits. It is troubling because Fox's coverage influences tens of millions of people who ultimately are misled, including, Jake, the most important viewer of all, the President of the United States.
And Brian, just to clarify, though, they do anticipate that they will call one of these states that we're watching, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, and they will project 270 electoral votes, at least for Joe Biden. They just won't call him president-elect because of these rather frivolous lawsuits?
Because of these frivolous lawsuits, that's right. This is the guidance that's been given out to the leaders of the channel, the top anchors, the top people at the channel. It is striking guidance, and it gets to this broader issue about how Fox is informing or misinforming the public. The Fox Decision Desk is widely well regarded in this industry, having the same standards that CNN and all the broadcast networks have. But these opinion hosts and these news anchors at Fox are showing shocking deference to these toothless lawsuit threats. And by the way, Jake, you mentioned earlier, the Murdochs are ultimately responsible. Rupert and Lachlan Murdoch are responsible for what's on this network in the coming hours. And one member of the Murdoch family weighed in a few minutes ago, agreeing with what you said here on CNN. Catherine Murdoch, a wife of James, one of Rupert's sons, said she agrees with you that the Murdochs have to show responsibility in this key moment.
So here's why. Okay, here's why the Murdochs have to show responsibility for what is going on. This is a report from Philadelphia last night. This is a local news station report about a guy who has a Hummer, not the good kind, and pulls up to the convention center in Philly, 2 guys in a car, in a Hummer, and they were going to blow up the convention center where the votes are being counted.
According to police at the scene, they tell us they got a tip about a Hummer with people driving up from Virginia armed. Their plan was to attack the convention center while they continue to count the votes. Now, we have some video from the ground I want to bring up right now. They took into custody a man. You see him dressed in that tan outfit. At the scene here, they put a gun in a bag. They say he or another man that he was with was armed, and they took him away in a car. They believe they have found that Hummer and found the people that they got this tip about that, again, were driving up from Virginia to potentially attack the convention center while they count these votes. Now,
okay, so my comment is this. Is that guy a zookeeper? What was that outfit? Did you see that? He looked like a beekeeper. He did. He looked like one of those guys with the adventure programs. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, they drove up from Virginia to attack the convention center in Philly where the votes are being counted. Because of the rhetoric, of the lies, of the misinformation, the disinformation that is going on talk radio, that is going on cable news channels like Fox and One America News Network and Sebastian Gorka's stinking show. Now, Steve Bannon, I have to say, they pulled Steve Bannon off the air last night. I don't know if you know that. Steve Bannon's got a YouTube show and a Twitter sort of a thing going on. And he sat on his show and was asking people to behead. They're terrorists. Asking people to behead, calling for the beheading of Dr. Anthony Fauci. And they threw him off. They said, that's it. You've gone far enough. And he turned to his lawyers and said, they're stifling my free speech to incite violence against a well-respected 79-year-old epidemiologist. Now, who the hell would do that? His lawyers then said, you know what, find some other representation because, we're sort of out of here because you're inciting violence against a 79-year-old, well-respected, world-renowned epidemiologist in the middle of a pandemic where yesterday we had the highest caseloads that we've ever seen in this country since this thing started. We had 121,000 new cases yesterday, and the previous record was the day before. And they're sitting on their stinking shows calling for violence, calling for the beheading, calling for attacking, poll workers? Really? Poll workers. They're your enemy now. Poll workers.
The law, the Constitution, quote, the times, places, manners of holding elections for senators, representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof. In other words, the state legislature, they decide election law and regulations, not local or city officials. And by the way, it is illegal for them to block observers or restrict location to 20 or 100 feet where you can't observe.
Okay, so this is the kind of swill he's projecting. And what is that little clip showing you? He's saying that you should defy the will of the people and change the election law. The legislatures of Republican states that are being counted right now ought to just change their election laws and choose a different manner for selecting electors. Just choose something new, like we pick them. Just on a vote in the state legislature after the election has been held, which is just ridiculous. The Supreme Court would never uphold it. That's number one. And number two, he's insinuating that there aren't hundreds of GOP observers in Pennsylvania, in Georgia, in Nevada, in Arizona. That is an outright 100% lie. It's false. Not true. They're there.
All things Randi at RandiRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
United, we can and will overcome. We, the people, to come together.
Midas Touch is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. This is what we're up against. Those are your choices. I believe that we will win, or
strike and 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 strike until you have victory. For every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would strike the ground, for you will give us victory, God. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of shouting and singing. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of an abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of an abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory.
I believe that we will win. I hear a sound of victory. I believe that we will win. I hear a sound of victory. The devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for votes to steal. He was in a bind because he was way behind. And he was willing to make a deal when he came across this young man voting with a Biden hat on top. And the devil jumped on a hickory stump and said, boy, let me tell you what. I bet you didn't know it, but I'm a politician too, and if you care to take a dare, I'll make a bet with you. Now, you have pretty good polling, boy, but give the devil his due. I'll bet a ballot I stole against your poll because I think I'm better than you. The boy said, my name is Johnny, and it might be a sin, but I'll take your bet you're going to regret because I'm the best there's ever been. Oh! I mean, I believe that we will win victory with a steak on top, or stick it in your heart and kill. I don't know. It's basically where we are. Basically where we are. Gary in California.
Yeah, what's up?
You.
All right, let's go. Oh, is this Randy?
Yes.
Yeah, hi, Randy. Hey, I was watching your show. It's a little bit of a delay out here, not bad. It's just Trump and his people trying to flip the script again, man. That's been his game all along. Whenever you say black, he says white with a double down, you know? And this is just an attempt to hang on Biden the fact that we have a corrupt system, because he's got all those people that are drinking the water out there, and they're going to run on that. It's really, it's that simple. It's that simple.
Well, it's that simple, and until we have the Senate, and until we have the presidency, and we have the House, and then it's it's not that simple anymore. And listen, here's a little detail, okay? And I want you to remember this, everybody. Donald Trump is not going to go away. You understand that? He is not going away. He will still be calling in to Fox and Friends in the morning. They will still take his call. He will be on television, and TV will still show him. He is going to agitate for the entire presidency of Joe Biden. Okay? He is not going away, and he is going to rally his the most violent. Not everybody that supports Donald Trump is violent, just like not everybody that supports Donald Trump is racist. But there is a good chunk, about a third of Trump supporters, who are willing to get into their Hummer and drive from Virginia to try and blow up or attack the Philly Convention Center. There are a third of his supporters who are willing to get in their car and drive to North Carolina, from North Carolina to Washington, D.C., looking for a pedophile ring in a ping-pong pizza parlor. Okay? QAnon is a cult. Donald Trump is its leader. And he isn't going to go away and just quietly into the night. He is the devil. He is the devil. And the devil is going down to Georgia, and he's looking for votes to steal. He is in a bind because he's way behind, and he's willing to make a deal. And the deal he will make is that they give him either airtime forever on OAN, or he starts his own network. The man is not going away. He's going to agitate. He's going to incinerate America if he can. He's an arsonist, you know. He lights the fire and then calls the fire department and stands back and watches it. And then sometimes he'll run into the area where the fire is and pretend he's the hero. It's sick, it's twisted, it's Donald Trump. So just make very sure that you understand that he's not going away unless we make him go away. Now, there are many ways to make him go away. One is to, we won't listen to him. I will, because I have to know what's going on. But we won't listen to him because we will be very busy governing. We will be very busy getting stimulus money out to people. We will be very busy fixing this issue with COVID and getting testing out to people. Testing where people can test every day if they have to in order to keep this country open and operating, and in order to identify people who have the virus early so that they can isolate, they can get paid to isolate, they can wait until they're not contagious and their test comes back negative and get right back into the game. Okay? We will be very busy with these things. The other side will be very busy trying to blow things up, trying to burn things down, trying to say Joe Biden is corrupt or whatever. So there's one way that we could get rid of him, and that's to not pay any attention. That's not my preferred method. My preferred method is to indict him for the things that he is currently an unindicted co-conspirator in. I bet you anything right at this moment. I mean, I just don't know. This is one of my thoughts that, give me courage and strength. Here it is. The Attorney General of New York, Letitia James, is probably sitting on indictments or sitting on grand jury, evidence to present to a grand jury to indict Donald Trump on tax fraud, on being an unindicted co-conspirator in the money laundering scheme, to pay Stormy Daniels, to pay Karen McDougal. You know, the stuff that Michael Cohen went to jail for. I want to see this man die in prison. God only knows what Ghislaine Maxwell's got. See, that's what Brett's interested in. And what if it turns out that the real pedophile was the head of QAnon after all? I don't know. I mean, these are the things that comfort me in my time of need. When I find myself in times of trouble, Letitia James comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Put him in jail, put him in jail. No, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. This man needs to die in jail just for the treason, just for the division, just for, is that legally actionable? No, but he has committed crimes. We know that. He obstructed justice. The Mueller report says so 10 different times. He lied under oath to Robert Mueller in his written answers.
Clear. Call in, connect. To speak to Randi, call 561-270-3844. 561-270-3844.
Raphael Warnock eats pizza with a fork and knife. Raphael Warnock once stepped on a crack in the sidewalk. Raphael Warnock even hates puppies.
Get ready, Georgia. The negative ads are coming. Kelly Loeffler doesn't want to talk about why she's for getting rid of health care in the middle of a pandemic, so she's going to try and scare you with lies about me. I'm Raphael Warnock, and I approve this message because I'm staying focused on what Washington could do for you. And by the way, I love puppies.
Here we go, everybody. You ready? You ready? I'm telling you, the devil's going down in Georgia. They're looking for ballots to steal. They're in a bind. They're not way behind, but they're willing to make a deal. So Donald Trump's lawyers just asked Pennsylvania, asked the Supreme Court to get Pennsylvania to segregate ballots that were received after Election Day. Guess what? Guess what, everybody? They've been doing that. They're not counting ballots that they received after Election Day. I don't know what's wrong with them. Look, they're just trying to claim a foul, so they need to throw the flag to have a leg to stand on is basically what it is. It's ridiculous because they have been segregating the ballots received after Election Day. Okay, so that's where we are. Connie in North Carolina.
Yes, we spoke a couple weeks ago, and I still have my southern accent and no makeup on.
Oh, yes, I remember you. I thought about you a lot. I really did, how free you are.
Well, I try to be.
You are.
So here's my question. It's about Q, and I have my ideas. Who do you think Q is, or would you like to know my ideas first?
Yes, I'd like to know yours first.
I think it's Tucker Carlson and Stephen Miller.
Yeah, all right. I think it's Donald Trump. Yeah. I've always thought it was Donald Trump because of the focus on the pedophilia. You know what I mean? It's just like that's in his wheelhouse. He has actually said out loud on radio, on public radio, that he actually looks at the 15-year-old girls naked. Do you know what I mean? I mean, he's flirted with his own freaking daughter. So I don't know. I think this is something that they put out there a long time ago, because they figured out that Donald Trump was going to be accused of being a rapist and a sexual assaulter. Obviously, then the tape came out where he said he does do this. And so they decided to get out in front of it and accuse Hillary Clinton of running a pedophile ring out of the basement of a pizza parlor. But the truth was it was being run out of Palm Beach County, on Palm Beach, out of Jeffrey Epstein's house.
Reflection. Just put it off on somebody else what you're doing.
Yeah, it's called projection, actually. And people...
Projection, thank you.
Yeah, and people actually do that because if they could point at you, even though when you point at me, there's 3 fingers pointing at yourself. They think that if they get ahead of the story, this is the oldest trick in the book in politics: get ahead of the story and accuse your opponent of doing exactly what you're doing.
Yes, and he learned that from Stone.
Right. He learned it from Stone. He learned it from Roy Cohen. He learned it from everybody that's been in his life, to blame somebody else, to whine and complain and always be the victim, always be the victim, always say that you're the one that's being damaged when you're the one that's damaging others.
See, and I'm trying to think, what was Stone's 3 steps that he taught Donald Trump, and I can't think of them now.
One of them was to never admit that you're wrong, ever, never apologize.
Yeah.
Ever. The other is to get ahead of the news and accuse your opponent of doing exactly what you're doing. And, and obviously they also are advocates of violence. I mean, Roger Stone is the one that thought of the idea of the Brooks Brothers riot down in Palm Beach, right, to go to the supervisor's office. And that was his brainchild. And now you see it again, except this time they're super armed and they're really violent, where last time they were just congressional staffers.
So you think it's Trump, but do you think...
I think Trump is Q. Yes, I do. I think Trump is Q. And I think that, guys like that scripted out the reality TV show, because, those shows are produced. They're scripted. They're not scripted verbatim, but they are scripted. Like who should win and who you want to move. So whoever, taught him how to write a reality TV show is exactly where he learned to keep dangling, the next episode. Dangle the next episode. Dangle more to come shortly. You'll see it soon, quickly, right? Just tune in for the next shoe to drop, right? This is all reality TV. This has nothing to do with governing. This has nothing to do with democracy. This has nothing to do with the American people and, helping us or advocating for us or solving problems like a pandemic or getting stimulus money. No, it's about a reality TV show where you have to tune in. And people love television. They love it.
Well, and see, I still think Stephen Miller is involved in Q. If he's...
Listen, he's a racist. He's a racist. Sebastian Gorka is a Hungarian racist. These are white supremacists, okay? These are self-loathing dudes, man.
I think the bigger question is, how did Connie fit 3 syllables in the letter Q? I love her accent. Q.
Yeah, the Southern women have got a thing. They have got a really good thing going on with that. I mean, they can just cut your throat out and just sound like, bless your heart. They got it down. Keith in Oregon. May I help you? Robin in Harlem.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. It's Robin. Hi, girl.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm better now that you're on the phone. What's going on?
I just wanted to tell you, he's not going to be having a television show. He's not going to be out there. He's going to be in freaking jail. Letitia James is going to nail him at 12:05 on January 21st. They will frog march him out of that inauguration.
What? There is no amount of money that I would not pay, okay? That I would not pay in cold hard cash or gold, okay, bullion, if people are interested in receiving that. If they could frog march him on right out of the inaugural, which I doubt he'll even attend, okay? If they could frog march him right out of the White House as a trespasser, number one, and number two, just in full view of the public, handcuffs, the whole 9 yards, the way that they did the Roger Stone.
Yeah, now there's been a grand jury impaneled here for 3 years. They're going to get him, the Spawn, and anyone he's ever known on RICO. They are going down. We're never going to hear from this sumbitch again.
I can't wait. I mean, it would be almost good enough if he were just reduced to a common man. If he were just reduced to a forgotten man. If he were just reduced to a loser. That would be good enough. That would be good enough almost. Except no. I want him reduced to a criminal. I want him reduced to a number.
I think he's going to run off to Mother Russia.
A lot of people. You know, we're on Twitter. Robin is on Twitter too. She doesn't want to self-identify. But we're guessing like where he would flee to, where there's no extradition, you know?
This is the Randi Rhodes Show. To speak with Randi, dial 561-270-3844. That's 561-270-3844.
The Republican Party has now gone to the U.S. Supreme Court and is asking the Supreme Court on an emergency basis to immediately order the Secretary of State to make sure that none of the ballots that were cast in this overtime period between Tuesday night at 8 p.m. and tonight at 5 p.m., the extended period for receiving mail-in ballots, they're saying to the Supreme Court, order the Secretary of State to make sure none of those ballots are counted.
They're already
until
doing
we can
that.
fully litigate whether the state had a right to extend the deadline. Now, remember the history here, Chris. The state Supreme Court ruled in September that because of the COVID pandemic, because the Postal Service had said it would have trouble delivering these ballots in time, the state Supreme Court said the deadline for receiving mail-in ballots would be extended from Tuesday until Friday at 5 o'clock. The Republicans immediately went to the U.S. Supreme Court and said, we want you to issue an order freezing that.
Yeah.
And the Supreme Court said, no, we're not going to do that on a 4-4 vote.
Right.
Then the Republicans came back and said, okay, we want you to take our case in an emergency appeal and act right away. And the Supreme Court said, no, we're not going to do that either.
Right.
So now the Republicans have come back for a third time and asked for an order to tell the Secretary of State not to count those ballots. Now, we know for a fact that the state is treating those ballots that arrived during this extended period differently because the Secretary of State has already told all the county election officials, keep those ballots separate, segregate those ballots. She basically did that on her own before she was ordered to do so. Then she put out a new directive saying that the ballots could be counted and keep an accurate log, but go ahead and count those ballots. And now the Republicans are saying, stop that count until we can fully decide whether those votes are going to count. Now, who knows whether we don't know what that number of ballots is. Nobody does. And of course, we won't know until 5 o'clock tonight. I'm sure somebody knows how many have come in so far on Wednesday and Thursday. But we don't know whether that's enough to make a difference. But in any event, this is the relief the Republicans have asked for. I'm sure if the Supreme Court follows its usual practice, it will ask for a response from the Secretary of State and the state before it decides what to do about this.
That is so freaking confusing. Okay, the Secretary of State has already segregated ballots that came in after Election Day, November 3rd, Tuesday. Ballots are still coming in, obviously, and the jury is out on whether or not those should be added to the total. As of now, those ballots are not added to the total. And the total that Donald Trump is leading by in Pennsylvania is 13,662. Now, they're counting the ballots that came in after, but they're not including the number in the number that I just gave you. Okay? How simple is that? They keep going and going and going and going, trying to suppress, trying to discard, they're disgusting. Actually, now, Pennsylvania, Joe Biden is up by 14,724 votes. That does not include ballots that came after Election Day. Does not. You know, he's very big on stop counting, stop counting. So let me tell you this. He's up in Pennsylvania by 14,724 votes. If we stopped counting right now, guess what happens? Guess. Come on, everybody. Who becomes the president of the United States if we stopped counting right now while Joe Biden has a lead in Pennsylvania, home of 20 electoral votes, by 14,724. So we stopped counting and Biden would be the president of the United States. All right. Same thing in Nevada. Let's stop counting Nevada. Biden is up by 20,137 votes in Nevada. Let's stop counting. Guess who the president of the United States is, with 6 electoral votes to be added to the total of, Biden's. Let's do the same in Arizona. In Arizona, Biden is up by 39,769 votes. Guess, if we stop counting now, who would be the winner? He's such a schmuck. And he deserves to live in the middle of this country as a nobody, as a schmuck, where he orders spaghetti and meatballs and he gets egg noodles and ketchup. And he gets to live his life, the rest of his life, like a schmo. That's what needs to happen to him. And that will be a good result. Not the best. The best is he becomes a number in the penal system. That's the only penal I want to see having to do with him. All right. Asani in Michigan. Hey.
Hi, Randy.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. Thank you, Michigan. Thank you.
Hey, it's a good day in Michigan.
Yes.
You know, the sky is blue. The sun is out.
Yes.
Really. I mean, hey, Randy, I really, really wanted to just say thank you. I'm pretty sure I'm speaking on behalf of all the people in the chat room on Facebook. Thank you very, very much.
It's my pleasure, Asani, as you know. It is my pleasure.
For real. For the last 4 years, I don't know what we will do without you. You know, you gave us this platform, this radio station. We go in there. And we express ourselves, and I have so many friends right now. We became family. Donald Trump divide, Randi Rhodes unite.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you very
Real
much.
talk. Thank you very much. That's all I want to say. It's a good day in Michigan, and thank you very much. And also the people in the chat room, we became family. Now I know some people who I never know before. Some of them I may never see them, but we are now,
That's beautiful.
And we are planning a big party. I'm not going to say his name. I just call him Lioness at Lioness House. The chat room. We are planning a party. That's going to be like the Randi Rhodes Fans Club party.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so.
And
cool.
you will come. I will link up with you, email you, and tell you all the. No, you will come.
Okay, invite me, and I will get into that chat room. I will, but I can't do both. I can't work while the chat room seems active when the show is on, which is why I can't participate, because I got to do this. Okay, Meredith in Alabama.
Hi.
Hey.
I was calling about the Georgia runoff. Stacey Abrams probably single-handedly helped save that state.
Say her name.
Stacey Abrams.
Yes.
If my thinking is that the Democrats need to drive hard the need for the Senate so we can pass a new Voting Rights Act.
Definitely. No doubt about it. That is right on the top of the list of things that should be easy to do. A quick lift if we have the majority in the Senate. And these two runoff races really became possible because I'm telling you right now, these Trump voters, they're not going to show up for a special election. Okay? They're not. There is no Loeffler fan base. There's no David Perdue fan base, okay? But they're very organized in Georgia, and I don't know any Democrat in Georgia that isn't going to organize around Reverend Warnock, that isn't going to organize around Ossoff. And they are going to show up in droves as long as, there's nothing on the ballot for the Republicans to, really be in the tank for. And they're not. So
Trump not being on the ticket will probably be a big hindrance.
Yes,
for them.
I agree. And so I got high hopes for the Senate. I still think it's in play. I get very annoyed. I do too. And when I hear the media write it off, they lost the Senate. No, we didn't lose anything yet. We didn't lose anything. Nothing. In fact, we won everything, as far as I'm concerned. Eileen in Philly.
Philadelphia freedom.
I love you. I love you.
Of you. Yes, I do.
It's so funny because I'm singing all day today, but I'm singing The Devil Went Down to Georgia. I know a lot of people are thinking Georgia on my mind. They're thinking, there's a lot of good Georgia songs. I'm thinking The Devil Went Down to Georgia. He was looking for votes to steal. I mean, this is just playing in my head all day.
Did you see the dancing mailboxes?
No.
Oh, my God. Check my Twitter feed. There was dancing mailboxes down at the convention center. It was the greatest thing.
Oh, no. Okay, I will. I'll check.
Yeah, I'm my reflection.
Okay. I'm at Randi Rhodes.
Oh, I tweet you all the time.
Do
I
you?
retweet you. Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I love it. Twitter's been fun.
Twitter is fun.
Philadelphia's been going nuts. Philadelphia down at the convention center.
It's like Rocky versus Dolph Lundgren. You know what I mean?
Oh, and it's like no contest.
Yeah.
You're going to mess with Philly? Come on, we're going to come with dancing mailboxes.
You gotta love us. Take care, my love.
Love you.
Love you more. All right, everybody. We still don't know, but we do know. But we don't know, but we do know. But we don't know. But Biden tonight, sometime in prime time. Don't know. Do know. Don't know. Do know. Calm, breathe.